It's been a very weird 48 hours for Warhammer fans, as the online community is in absolute meltdown over the brand new Custodes Codex. You've probably seen a little bit about it, but if you haven't, let me give you a quick rundown. On Saturday, the Adeptus Custodes Codex went on preview, and with previews you usually see reviewers such as myself with the Codex who start talking about the rules inside. But what's important is inside the Codex as well as the rules is also new lore for the Adeptus Custodes. One of which that was broken by Levox de Horus, a Spanish content creator I'm good friends with. They published some information regarding a female custodian. There was pretty much a big meltdown, lots of, for lack of better term, copium, saying it was a mistranslation, etc. And then when Guerrilla Miniature Games put out their review, their video going over the Adeptus Custodes, they turned to the page and then it was still blurry, until eventually a HD image came out, basically showing off that there is, in fact, yes, a female custodian. Her name is Custodian Calades Taravalia Kesh, and there is a short story, and it's not even, I say short story, it's a full 2-page spread in this codex about this custodian, about what she is up to. And this has sent a lot of the Warhammer community, I'll say a lot, the loud ones on Twitter, that part of the Warhammer community, into meltdown. They're cancelling their Warhammer Plus, they're selling their models, they're 3D printing and pirating everything now. It's a rogue intern, it's the share, the people, it's BlackRock pushing DEI or diversity, inclusivity and equality into games for profit. And overall, I think that most people don't actually care, but the loud ones online do care, to a point where it's got to like large right-wing grifters who are also talking about this topic, which is actually crazy. And as I'm recording this, Daily Mail have also put out, that famously, very much, Stoke the Flames newspaper in the UK is also talking about female custodians and shoving Henry Cavill into the thumbnail, just like every YouTuber known to man. I'm trying to come at this as from like a grandstanding of like, look, this doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but I can't, because last night I made a bingo card where I went through the replies to Games Workshop tweeting on their official account saying there were always female custodians, and tried to find bingo with their most common tropes. So the plan is, we're going to have a look at what's actually happened after this came out. And we've made a bingo card together with the live chat. So we're going to see how many times we can make bingo, as you can see. The options we have is I'm going to 3D print or pirate or eBay my stuff now. That it was just a rogue intern. Our sisters have silenced a joke to you that will get you top across. I'm cancelling something. I spent many thousands, or I'm gonna play a new game, or female Space Marines are next. Next, the Emperor's probably gonna be a woman. Marvel / Star Wars / Disney is dying, or a mention of where is my Misters of Battle then? I had my Discord, mostly Magoo, trolling Facebook today. What's worse is their Twitter page tried to gaslight you to thinking they've always been around. And then someone saying, new to the way, GW has been adding new models since literal decades. Because one way that Games Workshop likes to change the lore is to say, they've always been there, you know? Remember Rogel Dawns? The whole ass tank? Games Workshop didn't design it until like last year. They were never mentioned in the lore. They were not mentioned in a single book, okay? Not one novel pre-2023 mentioned a Rogel Dawn battle tank. But then they were always there and no one complained. Everyone was like, oh, Rogel Dawns, I'll take free. I'll have free friends Games Workshop. So the fact is that Games Workshop does loads of retconnings all the time, okay? It is very normal for them to do. Votan, another great one. They had squats, arguably. They just all died. They just went all dead, okay? Leagues of Votan aren't actually squats. They've not come back and then call them Leagues of Votan. They're a different race, okay? And then they just went, they were always there. But funny enough, no one complained about that. You know, the retcon, the shoehorn. There was no short stories about Rogel Dawn battle tanks being entered into the lore, or Votan. Well, Votan did get short stories in their codex. You know, they got like some codex short stories about what they've been up to. But no, when it's a woman in a custom battle, the gold battle armor, everyone's outraged, you know? New models are one thing, but you don't get to hard recon an entire faction and just pretend you aren't doing that. So there we go, guys. We've had the first one. Retcon. That's already gone. Went to Facebook. So, the people are having a very normal response to this, basically. You know it's going to be good when there's numbers in the username. And Warhammer, why did you make female custodies? And Warhammer said, since the first of the 10,000 were created, there have always been female custodies. Oh dear. Oh no. They doubled down. They doubled down. This one clearly had a very normal response. People can 3D print your models. Hope this is worth it. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to 3D print. Surely that counts. Chat, I think that counts, right? That does count. Ding, ding, ding. 2 on the board. And so Warhammer joins Disney Wars and Doctor Who in being allergic to money. Disney is dying. Disney is dying. That was so easy. This is going to go so quick. This segment's going to be done. GW might be tempted to think, well, we have 4K likes and only 1,000 replies, so we're technically in the green. But keep in mind that is every like that could be found in any corner of Twitter by some people who don't care and just want to stick it to the chuds. Those 1,000 replies, on the other hand, are from people who cared enough to voice their displeasure. Let me remind you that the sell a squad of 10 guys for $70. Only the ones who really care are buying your shit. Wow, is this an anime guy? Is this guy, does he think he's the main character in some anime? Because I felt like I was reading a monologue. Woke liars! Bing, bing, bing! We found one! Woke! Oh, we only need tourists to get a bingo! I've been reading some lore and thinking about getting into Warhammer. Maybe I won't now. You were never going to get into Warhammer. You are clearly a grifter, because he's trading EDU, which is probably, hell, I help educate traders to earn money in the market. Selling some course, that's what he's doing. He ain't got time to play Warhammer, he's got courses to sell. If it was a thing, where is the minis? I don't know, maybe they're gonna come out. That would be cool. Big hot mobby custody models. I would paint the shit out of that, okay? You're doing that to avoid trouble with gender stuff, or just wanted to sell stuff to them. That's crazy. Can you imagine a public company wanting to sell stuff? What a wild concept, he said. Slash sarcasm, just in case it wasn't obvious. Which are not gonna make enough money to cover the investment since no one's gonna buy it. Yeah, raise your hand. Would you buy hot mommy in gold armor to paint and play on the battlefield? Would you? Gender stuff? Oh, Bishop, true. DEI interference. Gender stuff. Diversity, equality, and inclusivity. The gender stuff strikes again. I hope you learn the importance of law, integrity, and fan base from this dumpster fire. Oh god! Oh, it's like I'm watching so much anime. It's so cringe. Since when? Show your work. Show your work. 2 + 2 is 4. Since when? Show your work. Chat, you won't get full marks on this test if you don't show your work out, okay? Show your work. That's not true. They were always met. This guy, guy, right? He is everywhere at the minute. He was all over the Helldivers satire thing, trying to say it wasn't satire because he's that stupid. But now he's seen that there's a grift in 40k. Bearing in mind, he's never mentioned Warhammer in his life. Until today. That's not true. There are always men. See my pinned thread. You can make them feel on that. Female now. Mistake when you have Sisters of Silence. Bing, bing. I think I'm going to take that one, as Sisters of Silence are a joke to you. But why lie about the past? Because they retcon everything. Because they always change it. Because this isn't new. They bring some out and then write a story about it. Every single model that was invented after Rogue Trader was shoehorned in. He would know that if he wasn't a tourist who was just a grifter on whatever content was popular that week. Showing so close to a bingo. We're getting so close to bingo. I can feel it in my bones, okay? I can feel it in my bones. If this picture of the young Captain of Gondor absolutely ripping it here gets more likes than GW, response sucks. I mean, that's quite a funny picture. I do want to like it. I will no longer buy your products. Cancelling. Does that count as cancelling? They've cancelled buying products. That counts, surely. 36 male protagonists, but last year I had 37. Oh, imagine that Custodes character that could have been there if it wasn't for the woman who took his place. Bastards. They took that one character. Not like every lead character in Warhammer is a bloke, but okay. So when Brothers of Battle... There it is. Where is it? Misters of Battle. We've got the bottom right corner. We've got Misters of Battle. Brothers of Battle counts. Not according to the law. But also, chat, the most important thing. The following interesting 3% or more of the issued share capital. Barley Guildford. BlackRock Vanguard. Is that to do with share price? It counts. Bing, bing. That's what we call that. We got the share price, baby. Every time a woman appears in the lore, they get reminded of their incel life. The only women they care about in the lore are the ones that can't talk, okay? And I will not be proven wrong. A Twitter impost by Random in 10! We got Rogue in 10! Bingo! 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 We got Rogue in 10! Bingo! We got bingo! Oh, well done, everyone. It took us an hour. But we must have had what felt like 9,000 attempts at bingo by getting the same one over and over again. It's almost like they only have 3 arguments in their head and they just keep regurgitating the same ones. At the end of the day, this isn't the first reference to a female custodian. There is an excerpt in The Echoes of Eternity, which is one of the Siege of Terror books by Aaron Dembski-Bowden, who has been outspoken multiple times on Reddit, saying that they always wanted to have female custodians, but they cut them from the law due to being told from the men upstairs who are in charge of marketing that there are no female custodian models that were due, so he probably needs to keep all of the stuff in the codexes as men for now. There's also an excerpt in Echoes of Eternity by Aaron Dembski-Bowden from 2022, one of the Siege of Terror novels, going over some thoughts from Sanguinius, the Primarch of the Blood Angels, where he says, and I quote, "Figures clustered around the craft's landing legs, where the ship's great metal claws gripped the radiation-soaked dust of the wasteland. These men and women were plated in the same gold as the ship, rendered upon their bodies with painstaking artistry. My father's guardian," Sanguinius thought to himself. And whilst you might think that, well, Mikey, obviously they're talking about the Adeptus Custodians, the men, and the Sisters of Silence, the women. Which, arguably, you could say, you know, they don't explicitly say that it's a woman custodian. It's just a men and women in gold armor. Whereas any tabletop fans will know that the armor of Sisters of Silence and Adeptus Custodians is very different, so much so it has a whole different save value. By the narrative of Warhammer that we are so holding on this high pedestal that can never be changed, what we have to remember is Sisters of Silence are null maidens. They are nulls in the warp, meaning people who are connected to the warp once they look or are near null maidens, or Sisters of Silence in this instance, and Calexis Assassins, they do the same thing. People connected to the warp start feeling a little bit odd because they are near essentially like an EMP field for their brain. To say that this quote is from the point of view of Sanguinius, and it is essentially an internal monologue about what's happening around him, it's weird that he never mentions that he's near a null maiden, because even being a Primarch, this superhero who walks the earth or walks any planet they are on, in charge of the Blood Angels, one of the most revered chapters that there are, or revered legions in this case, he never bothers to say, there's a null maiden there. That makes me feel a little bit weird, which to me says that he probably is a woman custody, but I might be wrong, and that is just... It's just my interpretation. I'd be interested to hear what yours is as well. And now we're in a position where Games Workshop have kept to that promise that they made during the Black Lives Matter movement, saying that Warhammer is for everyone, and they'll be continuing to push diversity in their characters and stories. And ultimately, if you've got a problem with that, you're probably on the wrong side of history, because you can sit there and call me woke, but if I'm woke and you're the opposite, what are you really? There's a big thing, I think, just in general media, whether it's in fandoms, whether it's just in general, a big culture war, and it's a shame, really, because ultimately there shouldn't be a war about culture. We should just be respectful of everyone who wants to be involved in the thing that we want to be involved with. And I know, as per my bingo card, Marvel, Star Wars, Disney, etc. have all been posted down in the comments saying that they all died and this is the last bastion that fell. But ultimately, in my opinion, it's just a little bit sad that you are so... Not you, because I don't want to call out you. I want to just say in general that people are so invested in the idea that their fandom is theirs to to appropriate into their, in my opinion, disgusting views, that any change to that is just another company that's going to die. And it's just a little bit sad when we can just all enjoy the hobby together, whether you're a man, a woman, a non-binary, a person of colour, a marginalised group. Maybe we should all just play this game together and roll some dice. But if you don't want to tolerate the other people that might not look like you, then that's a you problem, and maybe you aren't welcome. Because Warhammer is for everyone. And if you feel the same way, wherever and whoever you are, we're always going to be welcoming to you and be glad that you're part of the Warhammer community. And if not, you will not be missed. Thanks for watching.